Hi there and welcome back. If you're planning to take the SHRM or HRCI exam, then you will need to be familiar with certain HR terms and definitions like what is an environmental scan, what is exempt employee, or the Fair Labor Standards Act, what is featherbedding, and what is forced distribution. In this video, we will be reviewing these important HR terms and definitions you need to know to ace the SHRM or HRCI exam. So let's begin. What is an environmental scan? An environmental scan is a part of the strategic planning process where an organization identifies external opportunities and threats that could impact the business in the future. Environmental scanning lets leaders move out of day-to-day operations and take a more macro view of the organization. It shifts the organization from reactive to a more proactive mode. So, it can anticipate and meet market changes and new customer expectations. Now, there are several ways to conduct a scan for external factors impacting your business or which may impact your business in the future. The most popular is Porter's 5 forces. Porter first described this model in a 1979 Harvard Business Review article. He outlines forces outside a business that significantly impact its performance and operations. Those factors are a threat of substitute products or services, bargaining power of suppliers, threat of new entrants, bargaining power of the buyers, and rivalry among existing competitors. This kind of analysis can offer a quick assessment of your business with each area given a rating of strong, moderate, or weak. To learn more about Porter's 5 forces, I have a detailed video on my channel, so make sure to check it out if you need to. I apologize in advance for interrupting the video right now. Just a quick message from me. If you are preparing for the SHRM exam, then consider checking out my SHRM exam study guide, the one-book learning system. I have left a link in the description of this video where you can find more details about this guide and how to use it to ace the exam. Now back to the video. Moving along. What is an exempt employee? Exempt positions are jobs that qualify for an exemption from overtime pay under the FLSA, white collar and industry exemptions. Employees in exempt positions must generally be paid on a salary basis with limited exceptions. Let's dig deeper and understand what conditions would qualify someone as an exempt employee. Now, the conditions may vary from state to state, but the following general guidelines typically distinguish exempt employees from non-exempt. Number 1, they are paid for the work or tasks they perform by salary, not the hours worked hourly. Next, they must earn more than $684 per week, amounting to almost $35,568 per year. They must perform executive, administrative, or professional duties or exercise independent judgment more than 50% of their working time. Now, it's important to note that being paid a salary is not the same as being exempt. In order to qualify as exempt, an employee must be paid a salary and perform the duties of an exempt employee. One must fulfill all of the conditions stated above to be qualified as an exempt employee. So if you are watching this video, then you are an HR professional or an aspiring one. This means that most probably you will be an exempt employee. Great. If you are finding value in this video and would like to be reminded of similar videos, then consider subscribing to my channel. Like the video, leave a comment. Thanks a bunch. Let's continue. Moving along. What is the Fair Labor Standards Act or FLSA? The FLSA is a federal labor law that establishes a minimum wage, regulates overtime pay, and sets limits on child labor. Most US employers are subject to FLSA standards. The FLSA applies to most private employers as well as state, federal, and local government agencies. It covers both part-time and full-time workers. It established the Wage and Hour Division or WHD of the US Department of Labor. This division enforces provisions of FLSA requirements. The FLSA applies to organizations that engage in interstate commerce or produce or handle goods that are involved in interstate commerce and that meet one or more of the following criteria. They have an annual gross volume of sales of $500,000 or more. They operate a hospital, school, or institution of higher learning. They are part of a public agency. The key takeaways for an FLSA is the Fair Labor Standards Act protects workers by setting a minimum wage, regulating overtime pay, and restricting child labor. Non-exempt workers are those who are not exempt from the provisions of the FLSA. The FLSA sets a minimum wage of $7.25 per hour, but many states and localities have their own higher minimum wages. Great. Next, what is featherbedding? Featherbedding is a very old term that applies to labor union work practices that unfairly burden an employer to alter a workforce to meet union policies, which results in loss of profits. To break it down, featherbedding is the practice of limiting work production, unnecessarily duplicating work, or overmanning, particularly in compliance with a union contract, to prevent unemployment or to create new jobs. The practice is generally attributed to requiring employers to pay for the performance of what they consider to be pointless work, for work that is not actually performed, or for employees who are not required or needed. The situation generally results from a union contract with an employer. Featherbedding has developed over many decades as unions act in response to workers being laid off based on technological advancement. Labor unions generally deny the existence of featherbedding, and there are many related discussions regarding what is considered reasonable in the workplace. Naysayers claim featherbedding promotes outdated work rules and practices that are no longer efficient and made obsolete by emerging technology. Moving along, what is forced distribution? Forced distribution is a performance appraisal rating method requiring the rater to force employee ratings into a bell-shaped curve. The forced distribution model of employee performance management is a widely acknowledged and highly debated management strategy. It has been implemented in large-scale manufacturing corporations and small, lean teams with varying levels of success. But it has mostly been abandoned for a check-in method where managers regularly confirm that employees are meeting or exceeding their goals and providing guidance where needed. Sometimes called the forced ranking or forced choice method, forced distribution is a form of employee evaluation in which employees are ranked against one another rather than performance standards. This is done by stack ranking the employees from first to last. The result is typically a bell curve with a small percentage of low and high performing employees and a larger population of average employees. If you are finding value in these videos, then check out this playlist of HR terms and definitions. Also, like the video, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I release HR and leadership related videos every week. I will see you in the next video.